Thank you for beginning step 1 in registering your student athlete to participate in athletics at Pickerington North. You will now watch the OHSAA parent meeting for the 2015-16 school year. You will only need to watch this one time for the high school student participating in athletics. In fact, this will cover all of your high school students participating in athletics and is to be viewed by the parents. Information contained in the presentation will assist parents in understanding the expectations of Pickerington North athletes and parents. Let's review some people you'll want to know at Pickerington North. And we'll start with our principal, Mr. Mark Yulbrick. The athletic director at Pickerington North is Molly Fiesler. That's me. I'll be your narrator today. The assistant athletic director at Pickerington North is Jeff Good. The administrative assistant at Pickerington North is Jackie Earhart. And our head athletic trainer at Pickerington North is John Freeman. Let's review the fall sport offerings and head coaches at Pickerington North. We'll start with cheerleading. The head coach is Carla Foltz. For cross country, our boys head coach is Tim Starkey. Our girls head coach is Jim Langendorfer. In football, our head coach is Tom Phillips. In golf, the boys' head coach has not been named at this time, and the girls' head coach is Kitty McGreevy. In soccer, our boys' head coach is Darren Monholland, and our girls' head coach is Greg Van Cannel. Our girls' tennis head coach is Brian Hoff, and our girls' volleyball coach is April Boudreau. In the winter at Pickerington North, we offer basketball. Our boys' head coach is Jason Bates. Our girls' head coach is Dave Butcher. We also offer cheerleading. Our head coach for cheerleading is Carla Foltz. Swimming, our head coach is Justin Dortch. And for wrestling, at the time of this recording, the head coach had not been named. We also offer bowling as a club sport. The spring sport offerings and head coaches include baseball with head coach Tim Thomas, softball with head coach Sarah Looker, boys tennis with head coach Brian Hoff, track with boys head coach Dave Spring, and girls head coach Jim Langendorfer. We also offer boys volleyball with head coach Marcy Truex, and we offer lacrosse for both boys and girls as a club sport. The OHSAA stands for the Ohio High School Athletic Association. This is our governing body for high school sports. Let's go over a few of the requirements now. Number 1, students must live in the Pickerington School District boundaries. Number 2, students must have passed 5 one-credit classes in the preceding grading period. When you're counting the classes that a student has passed, you should not include physical education. Students shouldn't drop a class or change their schedule without talking to an administrator. This includes our principal, any of the assistant principals, or athletic director. Parents must live in Ohio. If a student changes schools after establishing eligibility in the 9th grade, the student is to be ineligible for a year. Students establish eligibility by attending school or participating in a practice, contest, or scrimmage prior to the start of school. If your student has not attended Pickerington North from 9th grade through their current grade consecutively, please see Ms. Fiesler with questions. Continuing with some of the OHSAA requirements, students are entitled to 8 semesters of participation once the student enters the 9th grade. Once a student attains the age of 20, he or she is no longer eligible for athletics. During the sports season, students may not participate on a non-school team in the same sport in which they're participating on a school team. Let's go over an example. If you have an athlete that's playing soccer in the fall on the school team, they cannot be playing on a club team for soccer at that same time. If you have a student that's playing soccer on the school team in the fall and they want to participate in AAU basketball, This is okay by the OHSAA requirements. It can't be the same sport at the same time as the school team is participating. To get more detailed information and watch a short video about the OHSAA, go to YouTube and search OHSAA Preseason Meeting. Pickerington Schools abides by an athletic handbook. The Panther Talk books, these handbooks, will no longer be printed. However, they are available at the district website www.pickerington.k12.oh.us. Let's walk through a few of the steps to register your student athlete. We would like all parents to complete forms online for their student athlete prior to the first day of tryouts. This will give our coaches necessary contact information should your student become injured or incapacitated. Every student athlete must have a physical turned in and be registered online prior to trying out for a sport. This must be done for each sport each season. The registration process should be quick and easy once you go through it the first time, and a student's physical is good for 1 calendar year. By watching this video, you've probably already found the registration link. It can be found at pickeringtonpanthers.org or oh.8218.com/Pickerington North. Let's review some of the scholastic eligibility requirements for high school students. High school students must have a minimum of a 1.75 GPA per grading period. This is not the cumulative GPA, it's for that grading period. At interim time, students' grades are checked. At that time, they must be passing 5 one-credit courses. Again, remember, don't count physical education when you're counting how many classes a student has passed. Students must also pass 5 one-credit courses at the conclusion of each grading period. This is the exact same rule as the OHSAA rule. Again, reminder, don't count physical education. It counts, it gives kids credit, and you need it to graduate, but it won't help you when it comes to eligibility. A couple of additional notes on post-secondary or career center students and eligibility. These are fantastic opportunities for our students to participate in. However, they also come with some responsibility. The student that's in post-secondary or attends a career center is required to turn in their grades both at interim time and end of grading period time to the athletic office when they're in season. This is the responsibility of the student and their parents. The athletic office will not call the career center nor the university to see the progress of the student athlete. It's the responsibility of the student athlete to bring grades to the athletic office at the appropriate times, again, interim time and end of the quarter grading time. The dates for these are posted with your coach. We have them in the athletic office or they're on the school district website. Again, www.pickerington.k12.oh.us. Participation fees at the time of this recording were $325 per athlete per sport. They may have changed, but when we recorded, that's what the fees were listed at. Payments for these fees can be made in 2 payments, or they could be paid all at once. If they're made in 2 payments, the district has established some deadlines for the first half of the payment and the final payment. For fall sports, the first half of the student's payment is due on August 14th, with all of the fee to be paid by September 18th. Again, you can choose to pay it all by the first deadline if you'd like. For winter sports, the first half of the fee is due by November 20th, with the final payment of fees January 8th. And for spring sports, the first half of the fee is due March 18th, with the final payment due April 14th. Should you think you qualify for a reduction of fees, applications for this are available in the athletic office or at the district office. Fees can be paid online on the district website through the parent portal at Infinite Campus. This is the same place where you might check your students' grades. We get a lot of questions about fees, so let's go through a quick question and answer with fees. First one we get asked a lot is, where do my fees go? We collect the fees in the athletic office, process those, and send it to the district office. Many of the fees, like I mentioned a minute ago, are paid online. We monitor those fees. All fees are turned over to the district office, and they cover transportation along with coaches' salaries. They cover part of that, not all of it. What if my student finds out that the sport just isn't for them? Students who participate in a scrimmage or contest are going to be assessed the full fee. However, if they determine this sport isn't for them, before that happens, they won't be assessed a fee at all. What if my student becomes ineligible or quits? If a student quits, becomes ineligible, or is removed from the team for disciplinary reasons, the full fee is still owed. What if my student becomes injured? Do we still owe the full fee? The answer to that is students who become injured may have their fee reduced or refunded with proper medical documentation. Sometimes up to 50% of the fee is returned based on the timing of the injury. Again, medical documentation is required. Can my student join another sport team if they still owe fees? The answer to that is no. Students can't start a new sport until they've paid fees from all the previous seasons. Our sports medicine at Pickerington North is provided by Ohio Health. They provide our athletic trainers. At the beginning of the presentation, you met John Freeman. He's our head athletic trainer. He is assisted by Shelley Butch. The athletic training room hours at Pickerington North are from about 1:50 until all the sports for the day have been completed. This includes practices. Our team physician at Pickerington North is Dr. LeMay. His office is located at Max Sports Medicine, which is on State Route 256 near I-70. And John or Shelley can get you in to see Dr. LeMay should you need to do that, typically within 24 to 48 hours. Dr. LeMay also comes to visit our school about once per week to do a clinic and check up on students that may be injured and make sure that they're progressing properly. Remember, should your student be injured, we'd like to have them report all their injuries to John or Shelley as well as their coach. And if your student sees any type of a doctor in an emergency room, a minute clinic, an urgent care, anything like that regarding an injury, we need to get a note from that doctor that clears the student to begin participation again. It may say can begin immediately. It may say take 2 weeks off. It may say that you need to go see another doctor, but we need some written documentation in order to let your student participate. Concussions is kind of a hot topic in the news today. Some of the requirements we have center around House Bill 143. House Bill 143 says that we must have verification from parents and students each season that they compete in a sport. So when you go through today your registration, you'll complete it for the current season that your student's going to play a sport in. Should your student play more than one season of sports, you'll have to go in and check those boxes for the concussion information for each season that they play. Let's review some of the signs and symptoms as well as the process for concussions. Some of the signs and symptoms are headache, dizziness, student being lightheaded, having nausea, blurry vision, confusion, or disorientation. Students that exhibit these symptoms can be removed from participation by our coaching staff, our training staff, or an official. If a student is removed from participation, they cannot return to play that same day. If they're removed from participation, students have to go through a 5-step return to play exertion. To assist us in making sure our students are safe to return, we do impact testing. It's a baseline test in the event that a student becomes concussed. Impact testing is offered to all incoming freshmen and any high school student participating in sports that didn't take the impact test last school year. The Pickerington Code of Conduct is a 12-month rule. Any conduct that results in dishonor to the athlete, the team, or the school will not be tolerated. The Code of Conduct rule is in effect 12 months a year, 24 hours a day. Violations in the Code of Conduct could result in a penalty that would range from 10% reduction of participation all the way to permanent suspension. Our training rules and regulations in regards to alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs are also a 12-month rule. Upon a first violation of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, a student's participation may be reduced 50%. That can be cut down to 20% if the student receives approved counseling. Upon a second violation, the student will be suspended 1 year from athletics. This can be reduced to 50% of the season with approved counseling. Upon a third violation of the training rules regarding alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, the student will be suspended for the remainder of their career. This could be reduced to a year if the student appeals and completes a substantiated rehabilitation. A couple of quick reminders that tobacco and e-cigarette violations are cut in half from the above standards, and that sale, distribution, or hosting a party automatically jumps up a level in the violation. In other words, if a student has had no violations and they host a party where there are alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs, that's viewed as hosting, and they'll be charged with the second violation. Pickerington has an anti-hazing policy. Hazing of any type is prohibited at all times, both on and off school property. Hazing is defined as any action taken or situation created by a student or group of students relating to the status or membership in a group that causes or is likely to cause bodily danger, physical harm, emotional harm, extreme embarrassment or ridicule, personal degradation, or loss of dignity. Let's review some attendance policies. If students are absent from school and they're determined to be excused by the attendance office, they may participate in practice or contests. When students are absent from school and they're determined to be unexcused, they may not participate in practice or contest. At the high school, we have random drug testing. A couple things to know. There's no excuse for a student not to show up when they're called for a random drug test. Students should bring a picture ID with them. Our tests will be held during the school day. In a quick explanation of how students are chosen, the company that we use for drug testing generates the list of students to be tested by random selection. They have a pool of athletes that we give to them for every athlete in that season that's participating, and they go through and randomly pick the students chosen for drug testing on that particular day and time. A reminder that students will be in that pool of potential to be tested students up until the varsity team completes its season. Sometimes this could go a few weeks beyond the freshman or JV season, but students will still remain in that pool until the varsity season is finished for the year. A reminder that, like many things in life, there are inherent risks in athletics. By playing a sport, a student is exposing himself or herself to the risk of serious injury, including but not limited to the risk of sprains, fractures, and ligament and/or cartilage damage, which could result in a temporary or permanent, partial or complete impairment in the use of limbs. Could also result in brain damage, paralysis, or even death. Please understand that there are risks by participating in athletics, and by your student's participation, he or she is exposing himself or herself to those risks. We do the best we can to reduce risks. It's important for your student athletes to be in tune with safety measures that our coaches provide for each sport. A quick couple words about insurance. The Pickerington Local School District does not provide accident or health insurance for athletes who participate in interscholastic athletics. That's the responsibility and a requirement of the parents. The parents are to maintain an active accident and health policy while their child is participating in sports. The school district does offer brochures on a supplemental accident insurance policy for all students. There's a fee for that, and the brochures are available in any school office. Sportsmanship is an important element of high school sports. Good sporting behavior is expected of all of our coaches, student athletes, fans, and parents. Good sporting behavior is expected to be practiced toward each other, toward our opponents, their fans, contest officials, and all coaches. A reminder that student athletes who are ejected by officials are ineligible for 2 contests, only 1 in football, due to the limited number of games. Officials' decisions are final. Remember that officials are people too. They make mistakes from time to time, like we all do. And a final reminder about sportsmanship: by paying admission and/or traveling to a contest, fans don't have a right to criticize the officials and/or coaches. I would say 99 to 100% of the time, the coaches and officials are doing the best they can. Please support our teams and support our athletes and support our coaches. We have an extremely supportive booster club at Pickerington North. They support all of our individual sport clubs and provide leadership and guidance for all of us. The president of this year's booster club is Felicia Hentz. Please check the PickeringtonPanthers.org website if you'd like to attend a meeting. They're held monthly. A quick commercial for parents regarding social networking and communication. If you don't recognize some of the symbols on the screen, you may want to become familiar with them. Students should communicate with coaches as they would communicate with a teacher or you or any other adult. We ask our students not to friend their coaches on Facebook. And we also should point out that students should only communicate things that would be appropriate for parents, teachers, coaches, or Ms. Fiesler to see. It's a good time to talk to your student athlete about social networking. Students should be cautious on what they're posting. Things that they post don't go away, particularly if someone screenshots that posting. Students should only post pictures or other items that would be appropriate for parents, teachers, coaches, grandparents, Ms. Fiesler, our principal. Those are the only things that they should be posting on social networking. Again, those don't go away, particularly if someone gets a screenshot of it. We have some great facilities at Pickerington North. We'd like to encourage you to help take care of them through your student athlete and make sure your student athlete is doing everything they can to keep our facilities nice. Athletes should always be supervised by one of our coaches when they use the Pickerington North facilities. There are a couple of obvious exceptions to that. A place like our tennis courts that are unlocked and open to the public at all times, that doesn't include that area. However, our stadiums, our baseball and softball fields, our gymnasium, our field house, weight room, those are all secured areas, and athletes should not be using those unless they're supervised by one of our coaches. We ask that our athletes don't wear cleats inside the building, and if you're bringing a younger sibling to a game, please have them remove their cleats before they come in. Not only does it help keep our building a little bit nicer, but it's pretty slippery when cleats are on some of the hard floor surfaces in our school building. In the locker room, we want all of our students to lock up all possessions and not leave anything on the bench or floor. Sometimes when something's left out, it's viewed as somebody doesn't want it and it gets picked up by someone else who might want it. Pickerington North is not responsible for lost or stolen items. Please make sure your student athletes are locking things up and not leaving things out in the locker rooms. We'd like to wish you, your student athlete, and your family good luck this year in athletics. If you have questions related to the information that you've seen today, you can see Ms. Fiesler, Mr. Good, Mr. Yulbrick, or your coach. And one final thing, please follow Pickerington North Athletics at PN Athletics on Twitter to find updates on games, scores, and what's going on in the world of sports at Pickerington North. Thanks for your attention. Please go through the set of forms to follow in the order that they're given to you in, and your student will become registered in the next few minutes. Thanks again for your help.